Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Hello, BookTube. The Darling Buds of May by H.E. Bates. Chapter 1. This beautiful, beautiful book is just so precious. It's so lovely. So the story is basically this guy who works for the taxation department, and he gets sent out to try and get Mr. Larkin to fill in a form, basically, and pay his taxes, which is a completely fruitless thing. Like, the man can't even sign his name. He is a true, like, gentleman. Like, he'll give you the shirt off his back. He's just the best guy in the world, and the whole family is this sort of sumptuous joy about them. And he goes out onto the farm, onto the property, and basically he never leaves. It's a very good story, but it's not a fast story. It's very lulling. It's beautiful. It's like being rocked to sleep. Not that it put me to sleep at all. It was really nice, but it's like calming. It's really content. There's this feeling of contentedness about the whole book that really reflects through. And it's like a caricature of country life, but in the most heartwarming way. And they eat, my god, the foods they eat sound divine. It's so beautiful, and the descriptions that even the young, beautiful girl eats a lot of food is a really good representation of women eating in literature. Okay, so when I started reading this book, I was a bit worried because I couldn't get my mind into the writing very well because of the way it's written, which is written in a very strong, heavy accent. People often ask me where I'm from. Like, strangers think I'm from certain places, or not even from certain places. They have no idea where I'm from, and I'm like, oh, I'm from Canberra. They don't think I'm Australian. They think I might be from England or Ireland or Scotland, and that's when I'm not even putting on an accent. So when I first started reading, I was reading it in the accent, and I was like, where are you from anyway? My mind voice couldn't keep up very well. I couldn't get into it, but then I realised I was reading it too fast and I needed to just slow down. Standing in the evening sunlight, gazing across the pile of junk, the nettles, the rustling hovels, and the scratching dusty hens, Pop sighed loudly, with such content that the house seemed to travel with perfect definition across the surrounding fields of buttercups and may, gathering its echo at last from the mingled sounds of the remaining geese, the voices of cuckoos calling as they flew across the meadows, and the small, passionate, invisible nightingales. "Perfect," Pop said. "You couldn't wish for nothing more perfect nowhere." So that's what my mind was doing. It was reading in weird accents that I don't even know where they're from. And so that slowed me right down when I was reading. So instead of reading like this, when Marionette Mr. Totten came down from the bluebell, and I would later marry and carry a bunch of bluebells and pick champion Mr. Storyboard. That's how I usually read. That quick sort of skimming over but absorbing all the information really quickly. But with this book I couldn't do that. I slowed down, and it frustrated me for about 30 or 50 pages, but then I got quite into it about halfway through, like my mum said I would, and I really got into the flow of the narrative, and it was really beautiful. You get absorbed into this lifestyle, into this country feel, and you just kind of feel really at home, like it's a very homely novel. It was a slow read, but it was a small read. Really calming and gentle and quaint and lovely and just beautiful, and I'm really happy with it. I was a bit worried because I thought maybe it wouldn't be relevant now as a city girl, kind of with all my fast-paced novels, and I like vampires, and I like young adult fiction, and I like science fiction, and I like fast-paced things, and stimulants are all really stimulating stimulus. I like stimulating stimulus. I shouldn't have been worried. It was glorious. I really enjoyed it, and look how beautiful it is. It's got its beautiful cover, and then the plain, and it's yellow. It's nice, friendly yellow, which is nice. This is a new classic of mine. I mean, it's not a new classic, it's a classic. It was written in the 60s, wasn't it? 58. It's really quaint and lovely, and it's just relaxing. It's a really relaxing read. I can't wait to watch the Catherine Zeta-Jones TV show of it. It's going to be just perfect. So that's all from me about The Darling Buds of May. I'm putting it up on my bookshelf as a classic. I'm going to put it up front and centre because I just think it's great. There it is. It's my favourite book I've read this year because it's so calming and gentle, and even though it took me a second to get into it, I'm really glad that I read it, and I actually had a little bit of tears of happiness at the end just because I felt this weird sense of calm. I just felt really at peace after I finished it, which was kind of a strange feeling for me. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did have a little bit of a tear. Not like a big bawl your eyes out sort of thing. It's not sad in any way. I think it was a content little emotion that rolled out of my eye. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Cheers! Paradise, this is absolutely perfect.